is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Black Horse. We are Minnesota.
It's simply a matter of how great a road trip this will be for the Minnesota Twins. With a win here today, they can make it a 6-1 trip through Boston and Cleveland. Good afternoon to you from Progressive Field. Dick Bramer along with Burt Blyleven for the final game of this road trip. There's a saying in sports, it's certainly true in baseball, that winning cures all ills. There's a good vibe around this Twins team right now, and within that, a never-say-die attitude.
Well, it kind of started in Boston with a 5-0 win, and then on Friday night, the Twins were down 5-1, and this offense got some big hits. Jamie Carroll right there scored the winning run. The Twins defeated the Red Sox 6-5 in 10 innings. Then on Saturday night, with the Twins down in the 9th inning, Joe Mauer, a big 3-run home run, and the Twins beat the Red Sox 6-4. And then in last night's ball game, it looked like the Indians were going to defeat the Twins, but no. 3 errors by the Cleveland Indians allowed the Twins to tie the game, and then it was Nishioka with a game-winning sacrifice fly that scored Morneau in the 7-5 Indians defeat.
On the Cleveland side, they've been playing Major League Baseball here for 112 years. Only once have they lost 12 straight. The Twins will try to complete the sweep here this afternoon. Fox Sports North is brought to you by your local Northland Ford dealers. Visit your local Northland Ford dealer or go to northlandford.com. And by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. Beautiful day to sit by Lake Erie or come to a ball game. There aren't many fans here this afternoon for the series finale.
So come on down.
Plenty of good seats available here at Progressive Field, and the Twins hoping to finish off a 6-1 road trip and extend Cleveland's losing streak to a franchise-tying 12 games. The Menards batting order. Denard Span leading off. Ben Revere hitting second. Joe Mauer third. Then Josh Willingham, Justin Morneau, Ryan Doumit. Tsuyoshi Nishioka hitting 7th. Brian Dozier 8th. And Alexi Casilla getting the start at third base, hitting 9th.
Well, the Twins have an opportunity not only to go 6-1 on the road trip, a defeat here of the Indians would put them tied with the Indians in third place. So hopefully they can do something against Justin Masterson. Masterson making his 3rd start this season against the Twins, his 24th start of the year. I think the Indians, along with everybody, they don't know what kind of Masterson's going to show up. Is he going to be, the sinker's going to be there? But he hasn't had a lot of run support.
Northland Ford defense for Cleveland. Shelley Duncan in left. Michael Brantley in center. Shin-Soo Choo in right. Brent Lillibridge getting the start at third. Cabrera Kipnis up the middle. Kochman at first. Lou Marson behind the plate.
Masterson on the year, 7 wins, 10 losses, an ERA of 4.78. And he's pitched better here at Progressive Field than he has on the road.
You've seen the 3 infielders there that all committed critical errors late in the game. And boy, for a sinker baller like Justin Masterson, he's got to be on the mound hoping that those 3 guys can forget all about what happened last night. A strike now, a ball to Denard Span.
And they're major leaguers. You know that they have forgotten about the last couple ball games, and hopefully a cleaner game today for the Indians.
The last couple and hopefully the last 11. That's what you'd like to believe if you're Maniaca 1-2. Got to go back to 1931, the only other time the Indians have lost 12 straight.
I've said it before, you end losing streaks with good pitching ball game by the starter, and that's one thing that the Indians haven't had a lot of, is good quality starts in this 11-game losing streak.
We thought it was bad in April and May, and it was bad for the Twins. But over this 11-game losing streak, the Cleveland starting pitchers have averaged 4 innings pitched. That's brutally bad.
Yeah, Kluber right there, he pitched a good ball
Yes,
game last night. Went into the 7th inning. Gave up 3 runs, only 1 earned run. Looking for his first major league win. He did not get it.
1-2 to Span. And another bouncer up the line. You'll see a lot of that. The Twins, although, as you say, they don't know which Justin Masterson's going to show up. They know that he's got a heavy ball, a heavy sinker. And if he's on his game, the Twins are going to hit the ball on the ground an awful lot.
He got beat up in his last start in Detroit. He gave up 7 earned runs in 4 innings. And then prior to that, the Twins beat him up in Minnesota, where the Twins beat him 12-5.
But in that game, he kind of, within one game, showed the inconsistency that he's shown the Indians this year. He retired the first 11 batters, and then the Twins caught up with him in the middle innings. Checked his swing. Is that strike 3? It is, and Span got hit by a pitch. One way or the other, he's going to end at first base. So he strikes out, and on strike 3, he may have been hit by the pitch. The carom off of Marson went into the crowd.
Yeah, Span's still at first base. He thought he got hit by the pitch.
I don't think he realized he struck out.
And that breaking ball down, and third base umpire Mike DeMiro said he went too far. So even though he got hit by the pitch, it's after the fact. He got the back foot.
So now the umpires are going to confer. And they're calling him out. He offered at the pitch. The pitch hit him. And so I understand the strike 3. But the ball hit him and caromed out of play.
But he swung before the ball hit him. Watch right here. This is what they go off of. Does he go too far? And then it hits the dirt, and then it got part of that back foot.
But if it didn't hit him, then it's a wild pitch on strike 3, and he should be able to get first base.
Good point.
And that's what Ron Gardenhire is saying. It would be like a strike 3 going to the backstop and a batter running to first.
Yeah, Marson never threw the ball to first for the force out.
So Jim Reynolds is the home plate umpire. The crew chief Jim Joyce. And they're explaining to Denard Span and Ron Gardenhire why he will not be granted first base. So apparently the ruling on the field is that it was strike 3 on the check swing. I'm not convinced that Span went. But then beyond that, the ball hit him, not the catcher Marson, and deflected out of play.
And it becomes a dead ball.
So an odd way to start the game. 1 strike to Ben Revere.
Well, Ben trying to keep a hitting streak alive. Now at 21 ball games.
1-1. Four hits the other night, 1 last night, and he takes a strike on the outside corner, 1-2.
Yeah, during the hitting streak, Ben Revere hitting at .378, 34 hits in the 21 game hitting streak.
Missing the inside corner, not by much. And now 3-2.
Yeah, Masterson, 112 strikeouts now in 144 innings pitched, but also 62 walks.
There's a drive to right center field. He hit this a long ways, but underneath it is Brantley for the out. 2 down. And that'll bring up Joe Mauer.
Masterson in his 4th season with the Indians. 12-game winner last year for the Indians. Looking for his 8th win here this afternoon.
Mauer took a beating behind the plate last night. He's the first baseman this afternoon. I think more and more in baseball we're seeing what the Twins have done with the designated hitter spot this year, rotating that open spot, if you will, in the batting order for more than one player. And Mauer and Willingham and Morneau have been and Domit have been the dominant designated hitters, but all 4 of them have enjoyed that quote-unquote off day from the field.
And all 4 of them can play other positions. You think of Boston, where we just left, David Ortiz. You know, he can play some first base when they play the National League, but here in Cleveland, it's, you know, Travis Hafner. Hafner really can't play a position. So that kind of locks up, you know, that when he is healthy, his back is bad right now. You know, you're kind of locked into that one player as DH, where the Twins can rotate, give somebody a day off defensively.
You know, you step back and you look at it, and it makes all the sense in the world, but then it makes you wonder why more teams didn't do it all along. You know, especially now with interleague play, where you've got to play in National League cities, and you don't want to take an Ortiz out of your lineup for a week or a week and a half. Jim Thome, another example of someone who was in National League ballparks pretty much a pinch hitter and nothing more.
I think of Billy Butler in Kansas City. You know, with Hosmer at first base, Butler basically the DH day in and day out.
Duncan with the catch and left, and it's a 1-2-3 first inning for Justin Masterson. here as Cleveland fans, but the Twins fans have been the happier fans here in this series. Here's the Menard batting order for the Indians. Jason Kipnis leading off as Drupal Cabrera batting second, then Shin-Soo Choo, Carlos Santana, Michael Brantley, Shelley Duncan, Lou Marson, Casey Kochman, and Brent Lillibridge.
And on the mound this afternoon, it'll be left-handed pitcher Brian Dunsing. For Brian, he's making his 7th start of the year, his 40th appearance, his 3rd since being put back into the rotation again. And he's going to pitch out of the windup. The last couple starts we saw where Brian Dunsing just basically worked out of the stretch.
It's interesting. Strike one to Jason Kipnis as Drupal Cabrera, Shin-Soo Choo to follow. And down low, 1-1.
Dunsing has had very good success against the Cleveland Indians in his young career. 5-1 with a 2.81 earned run average. Good breaking ball there. You know, when he did pitch out of the stretch positioning against the Indians back at Target Field a couple starts ago, and then also out of the stretch position in Boston, I'm sure between starts he had a chance to do this a little bit. Remember, prior to that, basically out of the bullpen. Did make 4 starts earlier this year, and they weren't very good starts.
Just off the plate, 3-2 to Kipnis.
But the last 2 starts, 12 innings, has allowed only 3 earned runs, and he's 1-0 over the last couple starts.
Flipped foul. As the Twins work through 2012 with one eye on 2013. Dunsing's a key guy for them because they're going to reassemble a starting rotation next year. Breaking ball, and he left it up and in, a leadoff walk. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Willingham, Span, and Revere across the outfield. Casilla, Dozier, Nishioka, and Maurer, the infielders. Domet behind the plate. The rotation for the Twins has been in a fluid state all year long anyway, but now Liriano's been traded. Pavano's trying to rehab a shoulder problem. Liam Hendricks has been up and back and has had much better success at AAA than in the major leagues. In short, the Twins are trying to find starters for next year, and Dunsing with every start hopes to prove that he's worthy of being penciled in for a spot next year. Yeah, an unusual walk right there of Kipnis over his last 2 starts. Brian Dunsing did not walk a batter in the 12 innings. And now Kipnis gets a great jump, and Domet's throw not in time. So Kipnis with a steal, and he's at second. And the count 1-1 to Cabrera. Yeah, he's one of these quick guys that for the Indians that can steal a base. Right here is 22nd base of the year. Got a great jump off of Dunsing. One and one to Cabrera. Bounce to third. Casilla has it. Looks the runner back. And delivers a strike to Maurer. 1 down. Not a good at bat right there, especially a club that's struggling. You have to try to get Kipnis over to third base. And you know, Dunsing did well because he threw an off-speed pitch, and Cabrera out front to get the ground ball. You know, winning almost becomes secondary, it seems like. Sometimes you need to convince yourself that your team is playing well, you're playing well, you're functioning, you're executing, and that last at bat is a perfect example of a team that has lost 11 straight, and they're not playing good baseball. Well, you start hitting for yourself rather than the team, and that's not very good. Here's Choo. Now the run may score anyway this inning, but how much of a lift would it have been in the Cleveland dugout? And they've got to be down, having lost 11 straight, if Cabrera hits a 2-hopper to second instead of pulling it to third. Although it matters greatly because that's that vote of confidence, that little positive thought they're looking for. Span is not going to catch this one. One hops the fence. Choo drives in Kipnis, and it's a 1-0 ball game. Well, an RBI double, so even though Cabrera unable to get Kipnis over to third, Choo takes care of that, picks Cabrera up,
with his 34th double of the year, driving in his 43rd run. Pitch up, and Chu gave it a ride. So the Indians take an early 1-0 lead.
So Chu at second with one out, and Santana will hit, their designated hitter. So Dunsing already has to pay for the leadoff walk. Samuel DeDuno had to pay for some wildness early in his start last night, and as a result of it, he wasn't around for very long. DeDuno last night hit the first batter, Kipnis. He scored. He walked the leadoff batter in the second. He scored. Walked the leadoff batter in the third. He did not score, but the Indians had the bases loaded that inning.
I thought last night he had a terrible pace. Going.
DeDuno?
Yeah, he just he didn't really trust his stuff. He was all over the place. I know he has trouble throwing strikes anyway, but time between pitches and Scott Diamond the night before, he just his great rhythm, and Dunsing, that's what he hopes to do. Don't spend too much time over that pitching rubber. Look for the sign and throw the ball home. And have better defense behind you.
One strike to Santana.
Going to have a crisper game.
And a long look in, and now Santana asks for time. Indians handle their designated hitter the way the Twins do when Hafner's out of the lineup, and that's on a pretty regular basis, unfortunately, for Travis. We've seen Shelley Duncan in the DH spot, and today it's Santana. Here's a drive to center, and it's going to be 2-0 Cleveland. Santana with an RBI single. Chu scores, and Dunsing's off to a rough start here today.
Yeah, Santana leading the Indians with RBIs. Picks up his 53rd. He had a 2-run home run here the other night against Scott Diamond. Fastball pretty much right there. So Dunsing having to regroup very quickly, leaving some pitches up. And the Indians now with a 2-0 lead.
Michael Brantley, the batter. And a strike. Indians have a dreadful record against left-handed starters. They are 10-24. They ran into a good one the other night here in Scott Diamond, and now Dunsing trying to add to their left-handed woes.
Yeah, the Indians hitting as a ball club.
Ball hit to right, and Revere on the track makes the catch out number 2.
Yeah, the Indians hitting as a ball club, hitting only .225 against left-handed pitchers.
Walking a couple of hits here in the first, and that'll bring up Shelley Duncan. Duncan with a 2-run home run against DeDuno yesterday. Manny Active showing a little frustration there in the dugout. Strike one. Dunsing, who in the first plate appearance was pitching out of the windup, has had to pitch out of the stretch the rest of this inning.
Shelley Duncan 5 for 12 against Brian Dunsing.
Ball pulled foul, 2 strikes. Very little right-handed pop on this Cleveland team. Duncan can provide some. Jose Lopez provided a little bit, but the Indians designated him for assignment yesterday afternoon.
Well, the Indians have hit 100 home runs on the season. 78 of the 100 have come from left-handed hitters.
Popped up near first. Mauer fighting the sun, and the ball drifting out of his reach. And my goodness, you think of the great Cleveland teams, and you think of the great right-handed power that they had. Albert Bell, Manny Ramirez.
Yeah, that's not a lot of home runs. Only 22 home runs all season long in 110 games from right-handed hitters. 78 from lefties.
2 strikes. And Doman setting up inside. Scoop inside. 1-2.
Dunsing already 20 pitches here in the first inning. Trying to get this final out. A couple runs put on the board by the Indians.
And Duncan waves at one high and outside. First 2 runs of the game go to Cleveland.
Here in Cleveland, where the Indians have grabbed a quick 2-0 lead. Here we're in the top of the second inning, and Brian Doman is up third this inning, one of the hottest hitters for the Twins. And you can see why. Look at him stay on the ball. He's made some adjustments, and he's hitting the ball to left field and left center for really the first time in his life. We know him as a really good pull hitter. He's standing up a little straighter, has his head back in his stance a little bit more. It's enabling him to hit the ball the opposite way, use the whole field, and he has been hotter than a firecracker, Dick and Bert.
Absolutely. Doman in the lineup, and his average creeping toward the 300 mark now at 295. 1 strike to Josh Willingham. Willingham with a half swing, 2 strikes. Willingham with 10 home runs since the All-Star break and 1 very important single last night. Got the 9th inning rally started with a 1-out single up the middle. Down and away, 1-2.
Well, Masterson very stingy on giving up home runs. He's given up 11 home runs, only 4 to right-handed hitters.
2-2.
And Masterson out there with a 2-0 lead. Now, something he has not had a lot of this year is run support. Indians have just given him 3.27 runs per 9 innings. That's the lowest in the American League.
Called third strike. second strikeout for Masterson, and that'll bring up Morneau.
Take a look at the GMC keys to the game since the All-Star break. The offense for the Twins hitting at .290, scoring almost 6 runs a game with 25 home runs and not a lot of power, but they've stolen a lot of bases and doing very well with runners in scoring position.
Here's Morneau, and he takes an off-speed pitch over for a strike.
And the reason for that, a couple guys red hot. Ben Revere on the hitting streak. Justin Morneau having a great road trip and really taken off since the All-Star break. On this road trip, 12 hits and 25 at-bats, hitting .480.
Outside 1-2. As well as the Twins have played at home, of course, or on the road. The hope is that they'll continue it through the homestand.
Right. Well, they're going to have their work cut out for them with the Rays coming in for the weekend.
And bounced foul. One and two to Morneau. Twins designated hitter this afternoon. And he pops it foul and out of play.
Masterson, 27 years old, born in Kingston, Jamaica, where his father was a foreign exchange student there in Jamaica.
Checked his swing. Oh my.
Wow. Umpires must have an early flight.
Mike DeMuro. I didn't think Span offered at the check swing strike in the first inning. I'm pretty confident Morneau didn't hear.
Let's take a look right here. Very close. Go either way. And it didn't go the Twins' way.
Here's Domit. Despite Domit's ability now to hit to all fields and hit the ball the other way, the Indians still put the infield shift on him, and he takes ball one.
Well, I think with the pitcher Masterson, with that sinker, Domit's going to probably turn over that ball, then maybe hit that ball down the left field line. Well, I think what we have seen Domit do is almost try to inside out that ball. He's got a couple hits on this road trip down that left field line.
One is a left-handed batter to the gap in left center that nearly cleared the fence. And now 1-2.
You know, guys, one of the reasons that the Indians would still play their infield around is because when he hits the ball on the ground, it's probably going to be pulled. Other way he can go in the air, but that's where he's going to hit the ball on the ground. Yep.
Right to Cabrera, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Justin Masterson.
in Cleveland. The Indians have an early 2-0 lead, but not to worry. The Twins have been coming back throughout this road trip. They're 5-1 on this road trip. They've come back in 3 of the 5 games, including last night where they were down 5-1 into the 7th inning. I asked Ron Gardner earlier today about the vibe that creates on the bench. And, guys, he mentioned that when you're going through a stretch like this, you feel like no matter what happens early in the baseball game, you're going to get your licks and you're going to have a chance to come back late in the ball game. And Gardy referenced some of the stretches they went through last year where just the opposite was the case, where you get down early and say, here we go again. The vibe right now is terrific. The chemistry is good. And they've got a lot of guys swinging the bat well. And Ron Gardner, I believes right now that no lead is insurmountable. And even an early 2-0 lead against a good pitcher like Justin Masterson probably doesn't worry these guys.
Yeah, you just don't want to get down too far. That just offense that has been red hot cannot come back. So Dunsing's job, yeah, he gave up 2 in the first. Now put some zeros on the board like Masterson's been able to do.
And while Jeff Manship, had some tempo problems out there too, threw a lot of pitches. Once the Twins turned the ball game over to the bullpen did as you said. They put some zeros up and made the 9th inning comeback relevant.
And you see Dunsing right there with nobody on, back in the stretch position where the first ball, he started the ball game with Kipnis up, walked him in the windup, so going back to the stretch with nobody on.
Well, that didn't last long.
Well, he tried it and then walked Kipnis. He scored. So, hey, let's just go back to what worked. The last 2 starts have been awesome for Dunsing.
Popped up, and Mauer crosses the line for the easy catch. 1 down. Kochman coming to the plate, but first this reminder, this season on Fox Sports is proud to support Boys and Girls Club of America, a place where youth can reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. To learn more, visit greatfutures.org/Fox Sports.
A lot of fans at home might saying, why the difference between a windup and a stretch, and what's the big deal? But you know what, Dunsing basically all season long pitched out of the bullpen. He said he felt comfortable in the stretch position. They tried the windup in that 4 starts that he had. It didn't work. So that game that he finally got another start against the Indians at the stadium at Target Field, he worked out of the stretch with nobody on, and it paid off. The difference is sometimes in a windup you have a tendency to rush a little bit, where in a stretch position he's already to that balance point as far as just all he has to do from the stretch is get that knee up and then hopefully deliver a pitch down in the strike zone. Windup, you sometimes you get out of sync.
And Kochman slashes one to right field, a 1-out single. Well, there are fewer moving parts, right?
Yes.
In the stretch position.
Well, do you go over your head? Do you, there's basically what you're trying to do is get to that balance point. And sometimes in a windup, you have a tendency to rush. I know I did that. You try to stay over the rubber a little bit longer. But I like the windup. Dunsing, I think we saw in the last 2 starts, better off in the stretch right now. Something he can work on probably during the winter or in spring training.
Here's Lillibridge, started the year with the White Sox, then went to the Red Sox, and now he's here with the Indians. A little bit high, ball 1. Well, in the midst of his confused state back in probably May, Francisco Liriano pitched just from the stretch to one batter, trying to find something that would unlock the puzzle for him. That didn't last very long.
Watch out.
That hit Dunsing. Stopped by Nishioka, and he backflips it off target. It looked like it hit the back of Dunsing, where he took one off the leg a few starts ago.
Nishioka, you see how Dunsing is right here. Nishioka had time to take this ball out of his glove and then maybe flip it to Dozier right here because the ball was hit so hard. And you see Kochman, he doesn't run very quickly, so
get an out. Oh, it got Dunsing's glove.
Yep.
So no out was recorded, and Lillibridge will get an infield hit.
A bad decision by Nishioka. You're already down. You don't need to try to, if it's a quicker runner, but right there, you have to get the out.
Caught a bit of a break because the liner was deflected off of the pitcher's glove.
Yeah, an error will be charged to Nishioka. That's his third.
Okay.
He has plenty of time right there to kind of get on his knees and flip it to Dunsing because, again, the runner, Kochman.
Big swing and a miss by Kipnis.
I think you have somebody who's trying to do too much. You know, Nishioka's really trying to prove himself and just over anxious. Two good sliders there. One thing that's been able to help the Twins win the first two ball games is double play balls. 7 double play balls already, but turned by the Twins in the first two ball games.
2 strikes to Kipnis. And Dunsing quite capable of doing that. He's thrown 67 innings this year, and he's gotten 11 ground ball double plays. One and two to Kipnis. Drew a walk, stole second, scored on Chu's double for the first run of the game.
Kipnis has grounded into 9 double plays.
And he takes a called third strike.
And Dunsing picking up his second strikeout. Good fastball down. Kipnis maybe looking breaking ball again because of the first 2 pitches and takes a fastball.
As Drupal Cabrera traits of this road trip, positive traits for the Twins, their ability to overcome errors. They haven't made all that many, but when they've made them, they haven't really had to pay the price like Cleveland did last night. This one nubbed foul.
You know what? Credit the pitching staff, because what we've seen in these 2 ball games, you know what? You make an error with 1 out, and all of a sudden, you know, the barn doors open up.
Cabrera wincing a little bit, and now
looking at the left hand, it looks like.
In the oblique area.
Oblique area,
oh boy.
Okay.
That's all the Indians need. Reaching for an off-speed pitch. And in that rib cage area.
See him take a deep breath right there. I know I had a couple cracked ribs one time, and when you take that deep breath, boy, it hurts.
You want to share with the viewing audience how you cracked them?
Yeah, on a dirt bike, chasing my boys around the mountains in California.
Well, that's a better story than I thought. Cabrera's going to take some dry swings here. And
hey, Roy Smalley, why so many oblique injuries in the game today?
I was going to ask you the same question, Bert. When we were playing, do you remember an oblique injury? I don't remember one. Maybe I remember somebody having a rib cage. They called it a rib cage. I don't remember anybody being out with an oblique strain. Do you?
Yes. No. I
don't
really
know. I
don't.
can't explain it.
Could it be because of weights? Guys lifting weights now, and they're almost they're too bulky.
I don't think it's too bulky, but there is something to the fact that you can build muscle but not tendon and ligament strength, and muscles might get a little strong for the connecting tissue. That really bothered me.
Off the glove of Casilla. And another run will score. So Cabrera looked like he was on the verge of being taken out of the game, and then he cracks a line drive. And I'm not sure he's going to be able to complete the ball game. He looked like he was grimacing as he was running down the line.
Well, he got a fastball inside and just dropped the barrel of the bat. Casilla leaped for it, got a piece of the ball that slowed it down, but Cabrera with a base hit picks up an RBI, and it's a 3-0 lead for Cabrera, his 47th RBI of the year.
So the Nishioka error comes into play. This run and any subsequent runs will be unearned runs. Even in Boston, when the Twins committed an error, Justin Morneau dropped a pop-up. Next pitch was hit for a 3-run home run. The Twins came back from that to win the ball game. Swing and a miss by Chu. So a quick 3-0 lead for Cleveland. Chu doubled in a run, cracking one to center field.
Yeah, Chu got a high fastball and hit it almost to the bullpen area for the Cleveland Indians.
1-1. And a bouncer to left, another hit, and another Cleveland run. Chu with 2 runs batted in. Lillibridge coming in from third base.
Yeah, pretty good hitting right there by Chu. A fastball away. He doesn't try to pull it. He just went with it. And Dozier shading Chu a little bit up the middle. That left that hole right there. So a couple unearned runs this inning. Gives the Indians a 4-0 advantage.
And now Carlos Santana drove in a run with a single in the first inning. Indians already with 5 hits and 4 runs, but a big error here in the second, leading to so far 2 unearned runs. Strike of the knees.
Got to give a look at Cabrera. I know that he's not going to attempt to steal third, but you got a chance to pick him off right here. Boy, he had a huge lead. Now Nishioka a little closer to the bag.
To a good start with men in scoring position. Bouncer to short. And Dozier to Nishioka ends the inning. But the Indians capitalize on a Twins error to double their lead. A good start for Cleveland. They're up 4-0. You can cast your vote for the Arby's Value Player of the Game. Text the word value followed by a space and the player's name to short code 234234. Well, nobody's done much to gather any support.
Not yet.
See what Tsuyoshi Nishioka can do here to lead off the third inning. He'll be followed by Dozier and Casilla.
Well, Justin Masterson, 5 of 6 batters, strike 1, has 3 strikeouts.
A drive to left. Duncan going back, leaping at the very end and making the catch.
Oh, good thing he's 6'5". He needed all of that 6'5" frame with those long arms. Kind of got fooled a little bit. Maybe the ball got into the sun.
Nishioka hit about the same ball here in the third inning as he did last night in the ninth.
Now watch him reach up right there. Ball almost over his head.
Here's Dozier. Nishioka is still hitless on the season. Dozier will be followed by Casilla. Taking strike one. So far in this series, the Twins have scored 21 runs, 12 of them unearned runs. And now today, in the series finale, they'll try to recover from giving up a couple of unearned runs. Dozier drives it foul. It hit an empty seat, 1-2.
And a nice souvenir.
Fouled away. His keepsake.
Yes.
Didn't hurt too much. 1-2 to Dozier. Now 2-2. This will be Masterson's 40th pitch of the ball game. Lifted foul.
Yeah, for Masterson, he's making his 13th career start against the Twins. He's 1-5 in 12 previous starts, 3 relief appearances too, with a 4.32 ERA.
And Dozier wastes another one. 7 up, 7 down for Masterson again in his last start. Really got cuffed around in the middle innings after retiring the first 11 men he faced. So I'm sure even though the Twins don't want to be behind 4-0, they're not panicking at this point. Inside, 3-2.
Now you saw Masterson 1-6 in his career. I had 1-5 as a starter. He also lost one as a reliever. So 1-6 overall against the Twins.
And Masterson now will go to the stretch after a 1-out walk. You can ask a question online at carsoup.com/baseball. White Bear Lakes Emily Lang asking, does Danny Valencia have a better shot to stay in the big leagues with the Red Sox? And what do we know about the guy we got from him? For him.
Well, you know what? We had Trevor Plouffe on the air last night in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and we were talking about Danny, and he said, you know, he felt that Danny's going to do well there. You know, that he's just going to get a new, fresh look on his career. So
he's got Will Middlebrooks ahead of him. And Middlebrooks is the guy that, in the Red Sox mind, made Kevin Youkilis expendable. As for Pineda, an older player in rookie league ball, but very good numbers. Somebody to keep an eye on. Chopped to the right side. I get kind of a chuckle when I read about Pineda, and some people writing that you know, he's old for his playing level. He's 21 years old. When did that become old for a baseball player?
Well, I believe he's from the Dominican Republic. You know, they sign those young kids sometimes at 16, 17 years old.
To see his swings and misses 1 and 2, but I mean, physically and otherwise, he's just maturing.
Right.
Who knows what he might develop into. It was pretty clear that for Valencia, a change of scenery was needed. Casilla drops a base hit to right, so now the Twins. Dozier stumbles as he comes around second, and now the throw nearly hits him in the helmet. Dozier looked like he wanted to at least think about advancing to third on Shin-Soo Choo, and it might be a blessing in disguise that he stumbled going into second.
I think what Dozier was going to do is try to draw a throw over to third base by his hustle, and he kind of slipped just as he got the bat, because he knows that Choo has an outstanding arm, and a good play by Choo right there, and Cabrera throwing the ball right at the bag. Dave Parker used to do that a lot in Pittsburgh with Tim Foley as our shortstop. throw it right at the bag. We got a couple guys out because the runner saw the ball coming right at him. They jumped out of the way, got off the bag, and Foley was right there behind him and caught the ball and tagged him.
Pitches up to Denard Span, called out on a check swing in the first inning. I'll always remember at the Metrodome, the first artificial turf after the first year or so, the area outside the cutout on the third base side of second base was worn down and very slick. And the Twins knew that. They used to throw behind the runner rounding second. Here's a little squibber, and that's going to be a tough play.
Trouble. No chance. Oh, wow.
What a play by Brent Lillibridge.
Huh. I was thinking no chance. Infield base hit. Bases loaded, one out. But Lillibridge, who was playing a deep third base on this swinging bunt, more or less, but he comes in, bare hands it, and then able to get something on that throw to get Span at first. Great defensive play by Lillibridge.
And a good call by James Hoy. Denard Span runs very well, but I think we just saw the difference between Span's speed and Revere's speed. Revere hit the same ball here the other day and beat it out. Just maybe a step quicker than Denard Span. A couple of men in scoring position for Revere, and he takes strike one.
Yeah, this would be a good point right here. It's part of the ball game to get that hitting streak. Keep it going. Maybe drive in a couple runs.
Revere drove one to center field. Brantley made the catch in medium deep center. Chopper to short. Cabrera sets and fires, and the Twins threaten with their first base runner and first base hit, but leave two men in scoring position. Minnesota Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is brought to you by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. By CenturyLink, a different kind of communications company. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Grand Casino, the best stories start here. Been a rugged first couple innings for the Twins here. A couple of Cleveland runs in the first, two more in the second. Now Brian Dunsing trying to stabilize things here in the third. He'll pitch to Michael Brantley, leading things off.
I need some zeros to be put on that board.
And he delivers low, ball one, and nothing would restore order better than about a 9-pitch 1-2-3 bottom of the third inning.
21 pitches in the first for Dunsing, 20 in the second.
It's a breaking ball over, 1-1.
That's what an error does too. You know, the Nishioka error just makes that starter have to pitch more pitches in an inning and get that pitch count up.
Chopper to Mauer. Dunsing covers the bag. One away. So So 3 pitches, 1 out. Twins are back home on Friday, and a lot of fans will grow hair immediately. Head and Shoulders is presenting Joe Mauer Sideburns on Friday to the first 20,000 fans. Good tickets are still available for this upcoming weekend against Tampa Bay. Call 800-33-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com. I think somewhere in the bottom of my bag here, I've got the sideburns they gave out about 5 years ago.
You have to clean out your bag.
I do. That's very true. But I remember at the time wondering whether they were Joe Mauer sideburns or Tony Batista eyebrows.
Are you a hoarder?
No.
No.
Bouncer to third.
There we go. 4 pitches, 2 outs.
Didn't you have that problem? Were they Joe Mauer sideburns or Tony Batista eyebrows?
Yeah, I'm not saying anything about Batista.
Why not?
Because he owns the Twins.
No, that's Jose Bautista.
Oh, but
the third baseman we had here.
Oh, yes.
2 down.
I was thinking Jose. Oh, I could talk about Tony all we want.
Here's Lou Marson. 5th pitch of the inning. Strike 1. Marson with a foul out to Mauer his first time up. And now 1-1.
Yeah, Marson, 26 years old, known more as a defensive catcher, more for his catching ability than his offense. Last year hit only .230 for the Indians in his 4th season.
Well, Dunsing did one better.
Better inning.
7 pitches, not 9, but 7 pitches in a 1-2-3 inning. Four-run deficits to win. We'll see what happens later today. Sanford Health injury report just in time to take on the Twins at Target Field. Evan Longoria has finally, after missing more than 80 games, he's finally returned to the Rays.
A big part of their offense, their pitching staff has been pitching very well, and we'll see 3 very good pitchers in that 3-game series over the weekend.
Mauer, Willingham, and Morneau facing Masterson.
I think it's Hellickson, Price, and then Shields.
Yep. And the Rays have tightened up their defense a little bit, getting a little bit better production, they hope, in their lineup. And if the pitching staff can hold it together, they're going to be a tough team to keep out of the playoffs. Mauer takes down and in, and it's 2-0.
Yeah, and starting Friday night, it'll be Cold to Freeze, Nick Blackburn on Saturday, and then Scott Diamond on Sunday.
Mauer with a fly to left his first time up. 3-0. The Twins made Masterson work a little bit in the third inning after drawing a one-out walk. Casilla with a single. Lillibridge with a great play to stifle the rally. And Mauer draws a 4-pitch walk.
Yeah, second walk for Masterson. 4-0 lead. The last thing you want to do is walk that leadoff hitter. This being Joe Mauer.
There's Jeremy Hellickson, the Iowa native, who will start against Cole DeVries on Friday. So here's Willingham with a man aboard, nobody out. Again, we'll mention it that Masterson seemed completely in control against the Twins when he pitched against them in late July at Target Field in the 28th. He retired the first 11 men. He walked Mauer. Willingham homered. And the Twins ended up scoring 10 runs in the middle 3 innings. Willingham fouls it back, 2 strikes. And the Indians were victimized by unearned runs in that game too. Jack Hanahan made an error that cost Masterson and the Indians a couple of runs. But we'll see what the Twins can get done here today in the middle innings against the Cleveland right-hander. Two strikes to Willingham. Breaking ball called out on strikes again. So Willingham has been called out twice by Masterson.
Yeah, the first time up a nasty fastball down and away. This time a breaking ball, kind of a backdoor breaking ball that sneaks on the inner half of the plate. Saw Marson wanting that pitch down and away, and it stayed inside, but he picks up his 4th strikeout.
Morneau will hit on a check swing. He was called out by third base umpire Mike DeMuro. Check swing, ball 1. Inside, 2-0. Doman on deck.
Boy, and this is what Masterson's problem has been this year. Again, 62 walks in 143 innings coming into this ball game. He'll have 3-4 innings at sinker, will get ground ball outs, and then all of a sudden lose it.
And Morneau takes a 4-pitch walk.
3rd walk of the ball game already for Masterson.
4 walks coming in the last 7 plate appearances. Friday at 6, don't miss Vikings Game Plan on Fox Sports North. On this episode, offensive coordinator Bill Musgrave weighs in on Christian Ponder and Kyle Rudolph as they enter their 2nd training camp. Plus, find out why California kid Toby Gerhart grew up a Packer fan. Vikings Game Plan Friday at 6, only on Fox Sports North. Here's Doman, bounced to short his first time up. With men on base, the Indians don't have the exaggerated shift on, although they do have Cabrera lined up in the vicinity of second base.
Well, Masterson's been able to get 18 ground ball double plays turned behind him because of that sinking fastball.
A couple of doubles in the game last night for Doman, a near home run. A little pop up to left. Duncan coming in, and he makes the catch for out number 2. That'll bring up Nishioka. Nishioka hit a line drive almost over Duncan's head and left. And this would be a good spot for his first hit, to be sure. Twins trying to get on the board here in the 4th. Like to make Masterson pay the price for issuing 2 walks in 1 inning. Nishioka 0 for 9 with the 1 run batted in. Strike on the outside corner. 1-1. Nishioka's drawn a walk. Many things the Twins didn't see much of last year. Ability to get on base and use his speed. And a liner to the glove of Lillibridge. So again, the Twins get a couple of men on base but can't get a hit to produce a run. On. Don't know if that's an ominous sign or not. AT&T trivia question for this series finale. Who holds the Twins record for most wins in a season by a reliever? I think I know that.
I think I know that. Soupy. Bill Campbell.
I was going to guess Tom Johnson actually, but one of the two of those guys.
Bill Campbell only won 17.
Flared into short left center. Drops for a hit. Kochman has a pair of hits and a leadoff single here in the fourth inning.
Kochman getting a rare chance to play against a left-hander where he came into this ball game hitting only 198, but picks up his second hit. That ball hit in no man's land. Dozier hustling out there. Willingham cannot get to it. So Kochman getting his second hit, and for the Indians, they're sixth to the ball game.
Well, 10 years ago, Tony Fiore made a pretty good run at it. He won 10 games out of the bullpen, but he never really came close to the record for wins by a relief pitcher. You're thinking it's
I think it's
Campbell.
Bill Campbell. Soupy Campbell.
There's Lillibridge. Reached on a Nishioka error. Now he lifts it foul over the Twins dugout. Lillibridge has bounced around from team to team now this year. He's bounced around from position to position. And wherever he plays, he's a Nick Punto type of player. He seems to be able to put together a pretty good personal highlight reel, whether it's at third base today. In the outfield, he was Ozzie Guillen's favorite defensive replacement in the outfield for anybody in left, center, and right. And everywhere he went, seemed like the ball would find him and he'd make a great catch.
Yeah, I mean, defensively, he's like Punto, kind of a wizard with the glove. Offensively, came into this season about a 200 hitter.
2-1. Dunsing cut through the third inning, 1, 2, 3, and just 7 pitches.
A couple of throwovers probably coming from the bench right there. Maybe a hit and run with a Littlebridge. Hodgman, 3 stolen bases in 3 attempts, but he's not a base stealer. Won't pay attention to him. He may take off.
I think Littlebridge might square a bunt here. 2-1 pitch. To right center field. Revere getting behind it. 1 down.
Roy Smalley down in that camera well. Dunsing changing speeds a little better.
Yeah, Bert, I think it's really, really important for Brian Dunsing to take a page from the Scott Diamond book and pitch back and forth a lot. Really change the speed with which he throws his pitches. Utilizing his curveball and changeup a lot more. He's basically been a fastball slider pitcher, and he tends to get kind of in the same speed with those 2 pitches, even though he has a pretty good breaking ball, pretty good changeup. We saw last inning, he went to the curveball and got guys out in front. That'll make his fastball an awful lot better. What happens when you pitch same speed all the time, fastballs and sliders, hitters tend not to miss it when you make a mistake. There it is. There's a ball.
Bouncer to Nishioka. He'll get 1, but not 2.
Yeah, especially if you're not a strikeout pitcher. You know, Roy, you're talking about Diamond and Dunsing, almost the same type of velocity, 91, 92 type fastball, but change speeds. He has to hit his spots, and I think what we've seen for Brian Dunsing, when he is on, he's like Scott Diamond. He can work the corners, but to leave a ball up like he did to Chu or Santana, they're going to take advantage of it.
Well, that's right. And when they're seeing everything fastball slider on the same plane and sort of more closely related in speed, you don't miss those cookies. But what'll happen from a hitter's standpoint is if a hitter's up there and he's seeing a 91 mile an hour fastball, then a 79 mile an hour curveball, then a slider, then a fastball, then a change, it gets him off stride. And when he gets a cookie in the middle, a lot of times they'll miss it, where they don't miss it same speed.
Got him picked off. Mauer's throw to Nishioka, but it's not in time. So Kipnis was taking off. They picked him off, but he's so fast he beat Mauer's throw.
Yeah, I mean, Kipnis stealing his second base, his 23rd of the year. Watch Dunsing lift that leg, and right there, he's almost halfway there. The throw high, and Kipnis sliding in safely.
Yeah, you know, when you're as a left-handed pitcher, you're looking right at the hitter. When you lift a leg, when you see him go, you got to abbreviate your move, get your foot down and get the ball over there. And Brian just kind of went through his normal pickoff move and didn't speed up at all. Joe, as he gets better at first base, will come charging after that throw a little bit harder too. But mainly, you know, Brian, when he's looking at that runner, he sees him take off, get the foot down, get the ball over there. He becomes almost like a middle infielder at that point.
It almost looked like Dunsing's throw to Mauer was down around his left hip. He had to drop his glove to catch the throw. So a runner at second, 2 down. Indians have been getting some clutch hitting in the early innings here against Dunsing. 1-1 to Cabrera. Cabrera got one of those hits his last time up the middle, knocked down by Dunsing, and a good fielding play to end the inning. So the Indians threaten, don't score. They've got a 4-0 lead as we go to the 5th. At Progressive Field, the Twins swept the Indians in a 3-game series in Minnesota to start the Indian losing streak. They'd like to extend it here today. Kevin Gorg, Roy Smalley, Bert Blyleven, and Dick Bramer here. It's been a good road trip for the Twins. They won the series in Boston 3-1. They've won the first 2 here in Cleveland. But trailing 4-0, Brian Dunsing hoping to get some run support here with Brian Dozier leading off the 5th. Ball 1. Twins have just 1 hit. It came from Casilla after Dozier walked in the 3rd. 2-0. Now Masterson has walked 4 men. He started the 4th inning with a 4-pitch walk of Mauer. 2 batters later, he walked Morneau on 4 pitches, but got out of the inning. On the outside corner. Excuse me, 3 walks. Dozier with the walk, and then Mauer and Morneau. 3-1 to Dozier here in the 5th, and there's ball 4.
Second time he walked Dozier.
Counseling Dunsing a little bit on the pickoff moves.
Well, that's good. You like to see that right there. Talking the game. 2 lefties.
Here's Casilla. He has the only Twins hit, and he takes a strike on the inside corner.
Usually when 2 left-handers start talking like that, there's usually a right-handed pitcher that needs to be close by to
interpret.
Yeah.
Chop foul, 2 strikes. Masterson with 4 walks, 1 hit allowed. The Twins had a threat in the 3rd and again in the 4th, but could not get a run producing hit. Outside 1 and 2. Somebody asked Ron Gardenhire this morning whether there was any room for sympathy from the Twins or anybody else at what the Indians were going through. There's a drive to right field. Casilla lifts one up and out. A 2-run home run. And the Cleveland deficit, or Cleveland lead, is cut in half.
And Alexi Casilla hitting his first home run of the year. And for Casilla's last home run coming June 21st of last year against the Giants. So Masterson leaving a pitch. And Casilla gets half of the runs back with a 2-run home run.
So finally a walk comes around to score. Here's Span. And he takes low, ball 1. Anyway, Ron Gardenhire's response to the sympathy question was, no, been there. We were where the Indians are now for the first 2 months of the season, and no one felt sorry for the Twins. They just kept piling on runs and losses. And now here comes Scott Radinsky.
Yeah, I mentioned that last night, Dick. They've lost 11 in a row. Is another club or anybody else going to feel sorry for them? No. Should they feel sorry for themselves? No. You keep playing the game hard, and hopefully good things happen.
Quick trip to the mound by Scott Radinsky. Ron Gardenhire saying, hey, who are we to feel sorry for anybody else?
Right.
We're 12 games below 500.
Yep.
Casilla with a big jolt here, hitting a 2-run home run. Now the count falls quickly to 2-0 to Denard Span.
I think what we have seen is Masterson falling behind. Now he got ahead of Casilla, but then left that cookie up right there, as Roy calls it. And Casilla advantaged with the 2-run home run.
3-0 with Revere on deck. Span hit a little number in front of Lillibridge, and Lillibridge made a great play to get a very important out for Masterson in the 3rd inning. Strike at the knees.
When you walk that many batters, when you have the stuff like Masterson has, it has to be more of a mental thing than a physical thing. The concentration of just trusting your stuff and keeping it down in the zone.
Pulled foul off the roof of the Twins dugout.
This is a guy that the Indians were looking at going into the season. He's going to be one of our aces. Jimenez, Derek Lowe, and it just hasn't panned out. 7-10 on the year, very high, 4.78 ERA.
He's always had a problem getting left-handed batters out on a consistent basis. And Span scalds one into the corner. It'll be an extra base hit for Denard Span. So a 3-2 pitch whistled into the corner, and the Twins aren't done yet in the fifth. Lefty's hitting just under 300 against Masterson.
Yeah, when you're a sinker ball pitcher and the ball flattens out like that right there, major league hitters can hit the ball hard off of you.
Here is Revere. Bounced out to short to end the threat in the third. The Twins had runners at second and third and 2 away. And Revere hit a ground ball to Cabrera.
Yeah, Masterson has had only 3 ground ball outs so far here in this ball game.
Revere drops a bunt foul.
Roy Smalley, you're down on field level. Masterson, to me, just doesn't drive off of that rubber and really throw that ball down. He's kind of like just throwing it over.
And not only mechanical things like that, Bert, I think this is a perfect example of a losing streak of what happens here. As you say, one of the guys that should be an ace, they stake him to a 4-0 lead, and we get here in the 5th inning. He walks Brian Dozier, and you can't walk Brian Dozier. Brian Dozier won't take a walk most of the time. You walk him and give up a home run, first home run of the year to Alexi Casilla. That, you know, when you're in a winning streak, or if someone's going to get you out of a winning streak, you take the bull by the horns and you don't walk anybody, and you say, here, Casilla, I'm going to punish you. But he's not doing that. He's just kind of fitting into the same hangdog kind of nobody's really stepping up and taking the bull by the horns attitude that the Indians have had to this losing streak.
No, I agree full-heartedly right there. I mean, you know, as a former pitcher, when you are in these streaks, and hey, we had them here when I was in Cleveland for 5 years, you have to have that one guy that'll go out there and just bear down and maybe pitch a shutout to stop the losing streak. Masterson to me is just kind of sometimes, yeah, he'll throw some good pitches and then he'll fall behind, and it's like, okay, just hit it hard somewhere.
Inside. Well, in the Manny Acta interviews that I've done or conversations I've had with him, or the ones I've read about in the newspaper or seen on TV, it seems like he answers every question with the idea that Masterson and Jimenez have to pitch better for the Indians. Are you going to be able to stay in first place? Well, we have to have Masterson and Jimenez to pitch better, because they hadn't to that point.
Well, at that time it was also Derek Lowe.
Right.
He'd start off 6-1 and then he started to falter.
You know, well, if the question was, what do you think of Derek Lowe and his great start? Well, we need Masterson and Jimenez to pitch better. Every question, it seemed, was answered that way. 2-2 to Revere. What did you have for breakfast? Well, we've got to have Masterson and Jimenez pitching better.
All right, throws a nasty pitch right there that just kept sinking away from Ben Revere. Watch this pitch. Look at the movement on that pitch where Marson ended up catching it. Now, why can't you do that all the time? And that's the inconsistency that they have seen from Jimenez and Masterson.
Well, the Twins have been guilty of squandering some scoring opportunities here. They've got 2 on the board here in the 5th. They need to get Span in from second base. Mowers walked and hit a fly ball to left.
Hey, Bert, watch. You were talking about mechanical things. Watch Masterson's head. There have been times all during the game where he starts his windup looking at the guy on second base. He's looking over toward third base. He picks up the target really, really late. And I got to believe, if you're his pitching coach, watch his head. He's watching second base. He hadn't picked it. Now he picks up the target.
Right. I noticed that in his start in Minnesota.
I mean, if you're the pitching coach, don't you say, you know, you're struggling with your control. Try picking up the target a little earlier.
Yeah, I noticed that in Minnesota. And I believe somebody hit a home run off of him. And I thought, you know what, you're not picking up the target. Watch right there. By the time he picks the target up, his the ball is almost released toward home plate.
Maurer with a chopper to first, Spann gaining third base, and now Willingham on a key at bat. The Twins have cut into the Indian lead here, but Spann had a double with nobody out, and here's Willingham lifting it into the seats down the right side, 1 strike.
Yeah, when Willingham hit the 2-run home run off of Masterson in the 4th inning in Minnesota back on July 28th, he did the same thing. I believe it was Joe Mauer that is on second base at the time, and he kept kind of looking more at Joe Mauer than he did what your end result is throwing the ball through the glove, the catcher's glove.
And he comes inside and ties up Willingham, 2 strikes. Been a tough game for Willingham. He's been called out on strikes twice, once with a fastball, once with a breaking pitch.
Yeah, look at the movement right there. And it's the inconsistency of getting that ball over the plate, trusting your stuff, that has really given Masterson a 7-10 record.
Right down the middle, and Willingham strikes out for the 3rd time. Casilla homers, but the Twins leave Spann in scoring position at 4-2.
Circle, and Twin fans, don't forget at Twin home games, bring your Circle Me signs. And if you get circled, you might find yourself in a Minnesota Lottery winner's circle, where you could win $100 worth of scratch-off tickets, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery.
What happened to the perfect ovals that we had the first couple?
Oh, these are my circles.
Chu with a first pitch single to center. So Chu is 3 for 3. In fact, you look at the hit board now, 7 hits for Cleveland. 5 of them have been from left-handed batters, which is unlike Dunsing. Typically, he has more trouble with right-handers.
Yeah, left-handers came into this ball game hitting only 200 off of Brian Dunsing. Right-handers 329.
So the leadoff man on. There are the season numbers for Dunsing. And now switch hitter Carlos Santana, who has one of the hits, an RBI single back in the first. Over, first strike.
Twins have not turned a double play yet. Good time to get one right here.
Dunsing has gotten plenty of ground balls here this afternoon. Missed inside, I guess, 1-1.
Well, the first couple innings, 41 pitches total, but the third and fourth, a total of 16 pitches.
Wide of the plate, 2-1.
And Dunsing came into this ball game in 6 starts, 5-1 with a 2.81 ERA against the Cleveland Indians. 2-1 here in 3 starts at Progressive Field.
Bouncer to third. Casilla digs out the short hop to Nishioka and a double play.
There's
nice.
that double play.
All the way around. Casilla with a nice dig on a second hop. And Nishioka turned it well. Maurer with a stretch at the other end.
Yeah, what makes this play right here is Alexi Casilla. If he waits back on that, he might get a nasty hop. So he charges it over to Nishioka, and then the pick by Maurer. Look at him charge that ball right there. Get the short hop, get it over to second, and then it's up to your second baseman. So Dunsing gets a ground ball double play. His 12th double play, turn behind him.
And now Brantley. Breaking ball, missing inside. Dunsing's tried that slow breaking ball a number of times to get a called strike, and the exception of once or twice, he hasn't been able to get it down in the strike zone. He gets a swinging strike, 1-1.
Well, as a pitcher, you're out on that mound, you appreciate good defense behind you. That was an awesome play by Alexi Casilla, coming in, charging it, and then getting it over to second base. I don't know, sometimes if defensive players know what it does to a pitcher, especially a starting pitcher, when you're out there for hopefully 7, 8, 9 innings, when a great play is made behind you, believe me, it pumps up that pitcher too.
7, 8, 9 innings. What year were you born in?
1951. I'm glad I pitched when I did.
Good inning for Dunsing after the leadoff single. It's
See,
a
it pumped
4-2
him up,
game.
he got a strikeout.
It's a 4-2 ball game going to the 6th. Our AT&T trivia. I'm going with Tom Johnson.
I'm going with Soupy Campbell. Come on, who is it?
Bill
Campbell, yes. 17-5, 1976. You know, Soupy pitched in a lot of ball games that year. But they called him kind of like the vulture. You know, he'd come in, maybe, you know, Twins would be up a run, he'd give up a run, then he'd get the win.
Well, that wasn't very nice.
No, not at all. But Soupy had some great years with the Twins, and then went on to Boston.
1 strike to Morneau on a foul ball. Morneau with a strikeout and a walk, facing Masterson here to start the 6th inning. And now a number, 2 strikes. Morneau, Doman, and Nishioka in the Twins' 6th. Masterson piling up some strikeouts the third time through the order. He got Revere, Willingham, and now Morneau.
Yeah, 7 strikeouts so far for Justin Masterson.
You can enjoy the best that Target Field has to offer with a group of 25 or more. No deposits required for a group outing this year. Simply reserve your best guess number of seats today. Pay only for the number of tickets you actually need. Domet bouncing a foul.
Yeah, 5 of the 7 strikeouts have come against Willingham and Justin Morneau.
Call 833 Twins and ask about a Twins group outing. Domet with a grounder to short and a fly ball to left. The ground ball to short was on the first base side of second base. 2 strikes. Chopper to the right side. Kipnis has to charge into the infield dirt to make the play. 2 down. Fox Sports North supports cancer awareness. Join Marnie Gellner, Lisa Dunsing, and Alicia Perkins for the Light the Night Walk at Target Field Sunday, September 23rd, benefiting the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. Visit foxsportsnorth.com. Click on Supports under the More tab. Sign up for or donate to the Fox Sports North team.
I see Masterson near 100 pitches. You see Rogers warming up, but that last pitch to Domet, that to me is what Masterson should do all the time. Good, hard, sinking fastball, getting that ground ball out. Watch this pitch right here to Domet. Look at that. That's what you want. That's why that's Masterson at his best. That's only his 4th ground ball out.
1 strike to Nishioka. 2 strikes. Nishioka's put the barrel of the bat on it twice, lining out to left and then lining out to third baseman Lillibridge.
And there is 100 pitches for Masterson, the most he's thrown in a ballgame, 114.
Oh, and 2 to Nishioka. One and 2.
Well, it has not been a very nice welcome of Nishioka. 0 for 10 so far in his at-bats. He's made 3 errors.
Bouncer to short. Cabrera to his left makes the play. Very close play. Nishioka almost beat it out. He's 0 for 3 today, and Masterson has a 1-2-3-6.
Last inning, when maybe his best inning, got some ground ball outs. He's been clocked as high as 96. Brian Dunsing at 93. And Dunsing's done a good job since the 2nd inning. Only 25 pitches used in the last 3 innings, 41 pitches in the first 2 innings.
He'll face Duncan, Marson, and Kochman here in the Cleveland 6th. Outside, ball 1. Indians trying to snap an 11-game losing streak. Only once in their 112-year history have they lost a dozen in a row. That was back in 1931. This is pre-Bob Feller days, folks. The Indians of Earl Averill, Luke Sewell, Lou Fonseca, the infamous Bibb Falk.
Oh yeah, Bull Bibb.
And now 3-0. Duncan has struck out in the first, bounced out to third in the third.
Only 1 walk for Dunsing, and that came against Kipnis to lead off the bottom of the first inning, and Kipnis scored.
That was back when Dunsing was trying the full windup. There's a strike. 2 earned runs, 2 unearned runs. The Indians jumped out to a 4-0 lead after 2. Three and 1 to Duncan. Pulled the string, got a swing and a miss.
Good pitch right there. That's what Roy was talking about right there. Don't everything just hard. Change speeds. Fastball situation. Dunsing pulled the string.
Ron Gardenhire said today he's always pictured Dunsing as a starting pitcher. He just has had more success as a reliever to this point. There's a pop-up.
Good comeback right there by Dunsing.
Nishioka can't find it. And Duncan goes to second.
Oh, the biggest thing for Nishioka right there, he lost the ball in the sun, but you have to tell somebody right away. Maybe Ben Revere could come in and help him out. But the ball hit high enough, Nishioka goes back, and it looks like he's camped under it. Well, he kind of put out his right hand. He doesn't know where it's at, but you also have to watch where that ball's going to hit. And if you hear it hit, don't walk away from it. Go get it. And no air. You can't put an air on that. It'll be a double charged to given to Duncan.
Carrera running for Duncan. In a bunting situation in Dunsing. And Nishioka almost skidded into foul territory. He was covering the bag. Mauer was retreating, and Nishioka almost tripped over the foul line. Sacrifice by Marson.
Well, Joe was there, but then he gave way to Nishioka at the last second. Joe almost went back to the bag. See Joe charging in right there. Now he's going back to the bag. And Nishioka, who was behind Joe, ended up getting the ball and stepping on the bag, behind the bag.
So a sacrifice for Marson, the speedier runner. Carrera at third. The Twins bring the infield in. And Kochman, who has 2 hits against Dunsing. Takes a strike.
Yeah, this is where you need a strikeout right here. Again, Kochman came into this ballgame hitting only 198 against lefties. You got to bear down. You have to find a way to get a strikeout. Or a little pop up. Keep Carrera at third base.
2-1. Kochman singled and scored in the second, singled leading off the fourth. There's a strike, 2-2.
Now throw him that nasty slider down and away.
up to second. Nishioka will come home. And a high throw. Cabrera scores. Well, it looked like a good throw would have gotten him.
Yeah, a good throw right there would have gotten him. And Nishioka, you have to charge that ball too. Watch Nishioka right here. Kind of played the hop. You got to go get that ball, and then the high throw, and Doman has to leap to get the ball. So it doesn't allow Doma to even attempt to block the plate because he has to go up and get the ball.
A 5-2 ball game, and Lillibridge will hit. And now a ball lined to the corner. Willingham won't be able to cut it off. Kochman round second, going to third. And it's a double for Brent Lillibridge.
Well, this inning all started when Nishioka couldn't pick up the ball, and Duncan ended up getting a gift double. And then the breaking ball, Lillibridge, a rare hit, a double down that left field line.
Rick Anderson to the mound. Nine hits for the Indians. And Jason Kipnis will hit here against Dunsing.
Well, I'm sorry, that ball off the bat of Duncan needs to be caught right there. You got sunglasses, you have your glove. You have to be able to catch that ball, and that's created this ugly inning for the Twins. I know the Indians have only scored one run, but you have runners at second and third now because that ball is not caught.
Twins bring the infield in again.
And it puts more pressure on that pitcher to have to throw more pitches.
There's a drive to center, and Span goes back. It'll be a two-run inning. So a sacrifice fly for Kipnis, and it's back to a 4-run lead. Kochman, who reached on the fielder's choice, scores the second run of the inning. That'll bring up Cabrera, drove in a run in the second.
Kipnis picking up an RBI, his 58th of the year.
To short center. And Span with the call and the catch. Indians get a couple back, and now they lead by 4. It's not been a pretty sight.
Well, you know, in the first inning, Dunsing had trouble getting the ball down. The Indians took advantage of it, scored a couple runs. In the second inning, because of the error of Nishioka, the Twins or the Indians scored 2 more. Alexi Casilla, good day at the plate so far, a base hit and a 2-run home run, and then 2 more runs allowed by Nishioka. And really, it should be a tie ball game if you look at it. Actually, Nishioka's ahead, 4-2. I mean, I don't mean to, but hey, you know what? I know the Twins paid some money for him, but in my opinion, he's had a tough time at the major league level. And I think the last 3 games have shown that.
3 hopper off the bat of Dozier, 1 down. 7 in a row set down now by Masterson after Span's double.
And I'm not afraid to say my feelings. I just feel that Nishioka is overmatched up here. And you know what? And I'm speaking for the pitching staff. You want this guy to succeed, but it just has not happened. And I think this 3-game series is a good indication of what the Twins maybe have to do.
Here's Casilla. He has 2 of the 3 hits. One and one.
Yeah, Casilla having a very good day at the plate. 2 of the 3 hits the Twins have been able to get off of Masterson.
And now strike 2. And a bouncer to second, 2 down.
And the last 4 outs retired on ground ball outs, something Masterson was unable to do in the first 5 innings.
If you're hitting the road, take the Twins with you. You can subscribe to MLB.tv and see every Twins out-of-market game live online on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit twinsbaseball.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Home territory blackout restrictions apply. Well, regarding Nishioka, we got a great view up here, and we get to see the whole field. Beyond the errors, there just seems to be a lot of confusion about where he's supposed to be. There was a bunt last night. Nishioka's job is to be on the bag, and he got there a little bit late. Granted, it was a speedy runner. But even on relay plays from the outfield, he's running around. I don't know that he's ever been in the spot where he's supposed to be. Another ground ball out, with Kochman going to the bag, and it's a quick top of the 7th. Sports North is brought to you by McDonald's. Get a freshly brewed cup of premium roast coffee from McDonald's. Any size is just $1. By AT & T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Toyota. Hurry in for big savings during Toyota's nationwide clearance event going on now. Brian Dunsing pitching to Shin-Soo Choo to start the 7th inning. It's been a bad ball game for the Twins, and the Indians hoping that Justin Masterson will get the win. More importantly, that they will win and end an 11-game losing streak. 1 strike to Choo.
Yeah, Choo, 3 hits in a ball game. He's driven in a couple runs. All the hits, double in the 1st inning, scored a run, RBI single in the 2nd, and then a single to lead off the 5th.
1 and 2.
Dunsing with 84 pitches in the ball game, 59 for strikes. So he's throwing strikes.
One and 2.
First time this year now, Dunsing making his 7th start this year that he's pitched into the 7th inning.
Vinny Pestano warming up. And a Tapper foul. Been a sloppy game for the Twins. And unlike the style of play that they played throughout this road trip, up high, 2 and 2.
Well, it's hard to sweep a team. I don't care if you're home or away. I mean, in Boston, you know, the Twins won the first 3 and then lost the final game. And here, you know, you need things to go your way.
3 and 2.
I mean, the last time the Twins swept a 3-game series here in Cleveland was what, 1991?
That was part of the 15-game winning streak. The Twins came through Cleveland here. Full count to Choo. That's hit hard to center. It sinks in front of Span and nearly bounces over his right shoulder. So Choo, another leadoff hit.
Choo picking up his 4th hit.
Next home game for the Twins. In fact, the next game Friday against the Rays. And a lot of post-game excitement. The long haul Bombers will be smashing softballs into the seats, and then after that the fireworks show over Target Field. Tickets available for Friday's game against Tampa. 833 Twins, or visit twinsbaseball.com. And we should say Tampa Bay. People in St. Petersburg get upset if we just exclude them. The Tampa Bay Rays. Choo with a single to lead off the 7th inning. Here's Santana. Breaking ball over.
I wonder how much money they made. Remember, it used to be the Devil Rays, and then they just went to the Rays. And if you said the Devil Rays is $1, you know, kind of a joke. You know, you said Devil Rays, that's another $1. Probably raised a lot of money. Now I think everybody just knows it's the Tampa Bay Rays.
Up and in, 1 and 1.
Santana hit into a double play in the 5th inning. Dunsing looking for another ground ball out here, hopefully off the bat of Carlos Santana.
Big swing and a miss, 1 and 2. Dunsing has been victimized by play in the field, but also he's not been as sharp as we have seen him. A leadoff walk started his game. There have been some leadoff hits. Leadoff double in the 6th you might be able to discount with Nishioka losing the ball in the sun. But 10 hits allowed to a team that has struggled against left-handed pitching. 4 of those hits by Shin-Soo Choo. goes the runner, and the pitch hit into center field. Chu goes down into a slide. He doesn't know where the ball is, so he should be doubled off. Nishioka flips to first to complete a double play. Chu went down into a slide. I don't know whether the middle infielders contributed to him going down into a slide, but he had no idea. And if you didn't know better, it looked very much like Lonnie Smith in the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, when you hear the crack of the bat, you kind of want to look in. Santana hitting the ball. You see Chu, right there. Nishioka maybe faked him out a little bit, but Chu had, like you mentioned, Dick, had no idea where that ball went. So an easy double play. So it's not a ground ball double play, but Dunsing gets a double play behind him.
2 outs on 1 pitch. If you're a pitcher, you don't care, do you?
Heck no.
Here's Brantley. Strike 1. Brantley 0 for 3. A warning track fly ball to right field his first time up. Off the plate, 2-1. I think the consensus was, after last night's game, the Twins didn't beat the Indians so much as the Indians beat the Indians. And just the opposite might be true here today, unless the Twins can turn this game back around. A lot of self-inflicted wounds by the Twins.
Well, the Twins have won some games, coming back down 5-1 in Boston, 5-1 the other night here. So hopefully they still have a rally left in the 8th and 9th inning. But Dunsing get this final out here in the 7th.
Another one hit hard to center, another base hit. Last 2 months of the season are the perfect time for young players to show how they fit into a baseball team's future. Check out FoxSportsNorth.com to see which 5 Twins you need to keep an eye on in August and September. Not such a vague lead-in or tease. I wonder whether that list of top 5 might not include players who aren't on the current roster, who are, say, in Rochester, maybe even New Britain. Here's Carrera hitting in Duncan's spot. He ran for Duncan back in the 6th inning, and a number foul.
Yeah, keep an eye on Brantley at first base. A couple stolen bases by Kipnis. And with 2 outs, Brantley, who has 12 stolen bases. Dunsing will try to get that ball to dome it as quick as possible.
Foul back. 2 strikes.
101 pitches for Bryant. 69 have been strikes.
Dug out by Domet.
Yeah, you mentioned even though 11 hits on the board, a lot of these hits, after the fact of an error or a botched play that should have been made. So, you want to pick up your teammates if you're a pitcher. Dunsing, kind of like, the first 2 games for the Indians, their staff did not really pick up the errors that were made by getting some outs. Hits continued.
Still 1-2 to Carrera. Twins with a chance to beat the Indians today and catch them in the standings. Just need to put together another rally against the back end of a pretty good Cleveland bullpen to do that. And a little roller to the right side. Mauer has it. Dunsing covers. And Dunsing completes 7 innings, but the Twins trail 6-2. To extend his hitting streak to 22 games, Ron Gardenhire talked about his right fielder.
Baseball's bad, you got to get lucky too. You know, you're going to hit a ball here and there, and it's going to find a hole. You're going to hit balls right on the button. He could go and hit 4 on the button today and make 4 outs. There's a lot of luck involved in this game, and a lot of skill involved in it. And when they both go together, you get into big streaks.
And Revere's enjoyed that with a lot of multi-hit games during the streak. But 0 for 3 today, and he'll lead off the 8th against Vinny Pistano.
Yeah, Pistano, he pitched in last night's ballgame. The whole bullpen did. But Pistano, he threw 1 shutout inning, threw 21 pitches, 13 for strikes.
Got into some trouble, but got out of it, and then everything kind of fell apart for the Indians in the 9th against Chris Perez.
Actually, Ben Revere was the last batter that Pistano faced in the 8th inning, and Ben Revere hit a ground ball to short.
Somebody asked Pistano about why he's been so much more effective this year than last, and he said about 3 feet, meaning all the balls that have just gone foul, have just missed the foul pole, have all added up to about 3 feet. And he said last year those balls were fair. So, at least in Pistano's mind, this isn't a game of inches, it's a game of feet.
Well, like Gardy said, you know, sometimes things don't go your way, other times they do. So you take the ride while the ride is there. Good breaking ball right there. Revere falls behind in the count.
2 strikes to Revere. He got a piece.
Look at those numbers. 21 game hitting streak for Ben Revere. And 34 hits.
Inside. 1 and 2.
Remember, he pinched hit during this hitting streak.
Right.
He got the base hit to keep a hitting streak going.
1 and 2. And a bouncer to short. Cabrera fires on the run. He got him. Not by much. Another very close play.
James Hoy right there ringing him up. Jerry White defending Revere right there. Thought he may have been safe. But the hustle of Ben Revere makes even a ground ball to short.
Yep. Well, looks like he got him. Oh, boy. Very close. 1 down. Here's Mauer. Mauer 0 for 2 with a walk. The Twins with just 3 hits, 2 of them by Alexi Casillas. Span has the other one. Game kind of got off on the wrong foot. Remember the very first plate appearance. We'll take a look at the bang bang play. It looks like Revere's
quite in his glove yet.
Yeah, Revere's got his foot on the bag there, doesn't he? Remember how this game started? Denard Span hit by a pitch, and the ruling was that his check swing was strike 3. The ball caromed off of Span's foot and into the crowd, and he went to first base as was standing there and then was sent to the dugout on a strikeout.
And the ruling was, I believe it is, that after the swing and miss, or he went too far, it becomes a dead ball once it hits his foot. So Marson doesn't have to go get the ball and make the out at first.
1 and 2 to Mauer. So the umpires conferred. Span, Gardenhire, and the umpires conferred. And that's how our day started. Here's a drive to deep center field. Heading back is Brantley. And on the edge of the track, he makes the catch. A little bit of wind coming in from right center field. That might have knocked that ball down a little bit. 2 down.
Deepest part of the field here at Progressive Field.
Twins will be home Monday night. The Tigers come to town. It's a Schweigert $1 a dog day. The first 20,000 hot dogs will be sold for $1. Limit 2 per customer. Good seats available for the Twins Tigers series. You can check out pricing at twinsbaseball.com or call 800-33-TWINS. 2 down in the 8th. Twins running out of outs, and here's Josh Willingham, who's been called out on strikes 3 times. A swinging strike 1. Really had a tough time with Justin Masterson. And he homered against Masterson in Minnesota a week and a half ago. skied near second base. Cabrera with the catch. And the Twins go down 1-2-3 against Vinny Pistano.
Enjoying a 6-2 lead here at Progressive Field. Stay with us immediately after the game for Twins Live, which is presented by CenturyLink. Take a look at Masterson, who contained Minnesota with 7 strong innings of 3-hit ball today. We'll take a look at Alexi Casilla, who connected with his first home run of the season. We'll take you inside the Twins clubhouse and hear from Ron Gardenhire, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The ugly, obviously, today, but the good, guys, has been this road trip. Either way, Minnesota's going to win at least 5 games on this 7-game swing, and they'll look to continue the good vibe back at home this weekend against Tampa Bay.
Casey Fiend comes out of the pen. Thank you very much, Kevin. Good pitch to Lou Marson, Casey Kochman, and Brent Lillibridge.
Yeah, Casey Fiend has been outstanding since he's been called up, making his 12th appearance. The only blemish against Chicago in Chicago, he gave up a couple runs, and that's been it. Every outing he's been able to put zeros on the board.
And as we talked about Dunsing and others trying to get their names penciled into the rotation for next year, Fiend can do the math. He knows the Twins will be looking for relief pitchers too, and if he can continue to do well, Twins might bring him back again next year.
Yeah, I mean, when your back is against the wall, you go out there and you do the best you can. And Casey Fiend's done a good job since being called up from AAA.
2-1.
He was called up on July 4th when Nick Blackburn was optioned to AAA. Fiend has shown a good fastball, hard slider, and a changeup.
Missing inside, 3-1.
Not a bad pitch right here. I think Ryan Doman even held it for a split second. Jim Reynolds calling it a ball. Home plate umpire.
And a strike. The Twins have been all over the map with their backup catchers for Joe Mauer. They've got Ryan Doman as their principal backup now. And to take nothing from Lou Marson, who's engaged in some conversation with Jim Reynolds here. But, Marson's a defensive style catcher, doesn't bring much to the table offensively. And the Twins have really been blessed over the years to have had really good backup catchers. A little flip to right, Nishioka with the catch, one down. And that'll bring up Kochman. Doman much more of an offensive player than Marson.
Well, we had that interview with Ryan Domit, and he said, hey, I'll play anywhere they want, get my bat in that lineup, but I'd prefer catching. He enjoys catching. He'll play outfield. He could play some first. He's been a good find for the Twins from the Pirate organization, signing as a free agent. And then the Twins extending that as the season went on to a longer-term contract.
And a strike. Domit's old team, the Pirates, 15 games above 500. Chasing the Reds, and if they can't catch the Reds, hoping to get a wild card spot in the National League.
Yeah, Cincinnati got really hot there for a while, and they were, neck to neck, the Pirates, and then, Cincinnati coming into today's play has lost the last 3 ball games, and the Pirates 3.5 games behind the Reds in the Central Division of the National League. Good for Pittsburgh.
Well, and then the American complement to that is Baltimore. I mean, the Orioles have had such a long losing streak, and I think it's good for baseball to have some fresh teams, some rebuilt teams get into the playoff.
Yeah, you still have the Cardinals right there, too. They're always tough in August and September. So a 3-team race pretty much in that National Central Division, National League Central.
Two and 2 to Kochman. And that was a 3-2 pitch, and it ends up being a walk to Kochman.
Well, this copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Here's Brent Littlebridge.
Only the second walk. Dunsing worked the first 7 innings. He gave up 6 runs, 4 earned with a walk and 3 strikeouts.
Mauer turns and fires, gets the force at second, relay. And James Hoyt calls safe. Littlebridge reaching on a fielder's choice.
Nice stretch right there by Casey Fiend, becoming the first baseman. That's your pitcher's responsibility when the ball is hit the first base. Get over there and you become the first baseman, basically. And watch this right there. Kind of a check swing. Mauer. And the relay throw. Watch Casey Fiend stretch out. Get over there. Find the bag. Very nice.
2 down, a runner at first. Here's Jason Kipnis.
I would have pulled a groin on that baby.
1-0. Kipnis drew the walk to start off the ball game from Dunsing. Ended up scoring a run. Oh, there goes Littlebridge, and Domit's throw. Not in time, a stolen base.
Yeah, he got a great jump right there. Littlebridge with his 9th stolen base. One, he brings a glove, but also brings his speed. And he got a great jump. Good strong throw by Domit, a little bit on the second base side, but Littlebridge stole that off of Bean.
One and one. And now 2-1. Kipnis has floated around the batting order as of late. Did really well hitting toward the bottom of the batting order. Then they moved him up to third and didn't really hit like a third place hitter. He slumped, so they moved him into the leadoff spot. And I suppose that's the risk a team runs when you've got somebody hitting, say, 7th where Kipnis was, or 8th, and they produce, and you've got other spots in the batting order that aren't productive. When you move the guy up in the order, nothing to suggest he's going to hit as well as a third place hitter as he did in the 7th spot. Kipnis bounces out, and the Twins got some work to do in the 9th. Shin-Soo Choo with a great game. 4 hits against left-handed pitching on the Farmers Insurance report card.
Yeah, Choo a double, driven in a couple runs. Alexi Casilla, really the only offense for the Twins so far in this ballgame, where they've only had 3 hits. Casilla, 2 of those. Hits his first home run of the year, and the first since June of last year. Ben Revere, Twins got to come back to maybe give him another at-bat to keep that hitting streak alive.
Well, if the Twins come back in the 9th inning here against Esmiel Rogers and very likely Chris Perez, if it comes to that, the Indians may just petition to leave the American League. It's a 4-run lead.
Maybe they go to Houston.
Going to the 9th. Yeah, Houston's coming to the American League next year. Morneau lifts a pop-up left side. Cabrera with the catch. 1 down.
Showed you the numbers on Rogers. He's done a pretty good job since coming over from the Colorado Rockies, where he was struggling a bit. Came over to Cleveland on June 13th. 22nd appearance for the Indians. 2.86 earned run average.
Middle of the lineup so productive on this road trip, has done absolutely nothing here today, including Doman, who's 0 for 3. Off day tomorrow, then the Tampa Bay Rays open up a 3-game series Friday night at Target Field. 1-0. And a strike.
I think it's a well-needed rest for these guys too. You know, you come to the ballpark every day, you're so focused. They had a great road trip, whether they win or lose this ball game, and then refocus for hopefully a very good homestand.
Be curious, during the off day tomorrow, whether anything is done with the roster. The Twins still carrying 13 pitchers, and the starting pitchers by and large have done a much better job pitching deep into the ball game. Might be a pitcher taken off the roster for a position player. We'll leave that to the people who are in charge of such things, but I know Ron Gardenhire would love to have an extra bench player available to him. Doman with a 1-out single.
Doman picking up his first hit and the 4th for the Twins in the ball game.
There's Chris Perez with the slightest sign of serious trouble. Perez is going to come in, and looks like he's clean shaven after what happened last night.
A couple bad outings, you change your approach.
Here's Nishioka.
And players aren't superstitious.
Strike on the outside corner. Nishioka 0 for 3 today. He's hit the ball hard a couple of times, but 0 for 11 since his
and
call-up.
Speaking of superstitious players, too, I know that I think it started about a half hour ago, the 10-meter high dive down in the Olympics. Brittany Viola, good luck to you, honey.
Nishioka reaches on a fielder's choice, 2 down. Now, did you... Well, I'm trying to think of her age. Now, she's, what, mid-20s, I believe, isn't she?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yep.
So you might have cradled her in your arms a long time ago.
I watched all 3 of the Viola babies grow up. And, hey, our prayers and thoughts are with you. Bring home a gold, honey.
Here's Dozier. Twins down to their last out, and the Indian fans hoping that they're about to witness the end of a miserable week-and-a-half-long losing streak. Dozier has walked a couple of times. Just his 15th and 16th walks of the year. Ball 1. And a strike, 1-1. Not a save situation for Rogers, but an opportunity for him to finish a ball game here. Blocked by Marson, 2-1. Nice stop at third by Lillibridge. And Cleveland's losing streak is over. A couple of runs in the first. Shin-Soo Choo with a ringing double in the first inning. The first of 4 hits. He's our Jimmy John's delivery of the game.
Well, the Twins put some runs, the Indians put some runs on the board here this afternoon.
And they beat the Twins 6-2. It was a 5-2 road trip for the Twins, and Anthony LaPanta, now the Twins will try to duplicate that success at home.
We'll preview the upcoming homestand for Minnesota after an off day tomorrow. We'll hear from Ron Gardenhire and take a look at how the Indians were able to get to Brian Dunsing today in the series finale at Progressive Field. It's all next on Twins Live.